Hello, everybody. Okay, thank you for everybody that have made that time to join the second session. We know that you guys are busy, but you still make time to just join in our training sessions. My wing chick is back. By the way, you'll see that I do have a co-host. Thank God nothing happened in the first session, but she is going to be joining me and assisting with the training session. And we've got another training session at 2 o'clock for Ivory, Batch, and Enterprise Method. And this is if you're actually an Ivory merchant. What we're going to go through in this session is literally functionality or tools that you can actually use in your main module. This is your monitoring account, your document lookup, your passenger lookup, amount lookup, and allocations. I hope Sylvia is in this training session. Sylvia, if you're here, sorry, I am still going to reply to your email, but I'm hoping this session will be beneficial for you because she has an issue with her allocations. So hopefully what we will cover in this session will help her. I hope she is here. Okay. If you do have any questions for people that are joining this session for the first time, please, you are more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask the question. The previous session, it was quite interactive. I really enjoyed it. And we have different ways of working. So if you work in a specific way, please, we are open to learning, and that's what I appreciate. And we educate each other. So it's actually beneficial for everybody to learn from each other because we've got different scenarios, but there's many ways to skin these cats. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to go through in your main module is your monitoring account. Okay. Monitoring account is quite beneficial. And for those that didn't join the previous session, please note that we've got your WinMain Lite and you've got your WinMain 4. But this functionality is still available on both of the applications. Okay. So in your main monitoring account, you've actually, I know for people that are working on WinMain 4, it gives you the option to also monitor an account on your creditors as well. So it's not only limited to your debtors. And in your WinMain Lite, you actually only see your debtors. Okay, so there's a bit of a limitation because you don't have your creditors in the main module. If you're WinMain Lite, your creditors are sitting in the general ledger. Okay, so this would obviously be, you will work on it the same way. It doesn't limit you, or there isn't a different way of working on it. It's just that it displays the information that you have depending on the main module that you have. I've got WinMain Lite in this instance, and the moment I select account number, it only displays my data codes. In your WinMain 4, it will ask you whether you want to see your debtors or your creditors, and you can filter accordingly. In most instances, you want to use WinMain Lite for a quick check, or you want to view the client's account. You can display the period that you would like to view. So you can actually limit your display and decide that you want to view any information based on that data for a specific period. So it can be, I'll limit this to December up to January because I don't think I've got much data built or much things captured in this instance. On your far right hand side, you've got the option of hiding everything that's nil and that's closed, because at the end of the day, you actually want to see open items or transactions that are pending or payment. You want to see whether your clients still owe you. You want to see open items. Okay. The moment you've displayed or you've selected your account and you've displayed the period that you would like to view, you need to click on the load button. The load button will literally display everything that has happened against that specific client. Okay. You'll see that this would contain all the invoices. If there was a receipt done, you are able to also view the allocations done against that specific client. So the allocation button, instead of you going more steps through the whole program and trying to find out what was this payment, this receipt, what was it made against with which invoices, or which invoices were allocated against this payment, your quickest way would be highlight that receipt, and you've got your allocations button right at the bottom. So it will literally tell you the source that these two invoices made up that receipt. Okay, so this is like the quickest way to search what has happened against the specific data and any transactions that have actually taken place. You've got your verify button. I love the verify button because it literally runs a diagnostic for you and it verifies your data integrity. So if you ever find that you don't understand what's happening with a specific account, you can literally just verify it and click on run, and it will literally just run a quick diagnostic for you. Okay. Any questions?
I have one question. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks, and you?
I'm fine, thank you. What is the difference between the Win Light and the Win Main? Like we use in the full package. Is this a light? Okay, cool. All right.
The Win Main Full is, okay, the Win Main Light is actually a flexible module. We usually recommend or refer the Win Main Light to smaller agencies that doesn't have the capacity to hire a creditors person who makes sure that everything, your creditors are complete, your bank recon is complete by the end of the month so that you can close your month end. So Win Main Full is usually given to people that have worked with it, because each to their own. There's people that actually prefer Win Main Full, but Win Main Full has your creditors and your bank in the main module. Yes. So you are forced to complete all those functions prior to closing your month. But some people have bookkeepers that come later in the month, then you'd rather have them sitting in the GL, and that can be done at a later stage.
Okay, thanks for explaining.
No problem. But the price is the same. So there isn't really much of a difference from a price perspective. It is actually the same. The Win Main Full has got, I think my colleague defined it the other day as, and his people on Win Main Light, it's, I beg to differ. She said it's an Uno. Win Main Full is like you're driving an Uno, but it's got a Ferrari engine. So that's where the difference comes in.
Okay, so what is your size of your company that you call a small company that you would suggest we go on the light one for Main?
No, Win Main Light, I would definitely recommend it for the ITCs. The ITCs definitely, we prefer to have them on Win Main Light. It's flexible for, and our 5 user sites, 10 user sites. But the moment you get bigger, it's also from a workflow perspective. That's what determines Win Main Full.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So back to your account monitor. You've also got the option of logging any correspondence. Perhaps you're asked to follow up on payment, or you've been asked to email invoices. You are able to log the correspondence and export this into Excel. You are able to export this to Excel as well and print it as well. Okay. Any questions on account monitor? Okay, right. So if you were to export it to Excel, okay, this is like a new laptop. That's why it's screaming like this, please. Okay, I still don't have Excel installed. Sorry about that. So, but you are able to export it to Excel. It is doable. Sorry, I just have my own issues with my laptop. Okay, we can close account monitor. Another tool that you guys have in your main module, or multiple tools that you have, you are able to look up a document. You are able to look up a passenger. You are able to look up an amount. You find that passenger lookup is often used or by leisure travelers. The person will put their name as a reference, but they don't give you the document number. So you are able to look up the passenger's details. The system will literally, I'm gonna type in Somebody, I think I've done something for them. There we go. So I've done a couple of things for Karabo. You can limit the period. The system will take you closest to what you have actually typed. So based on the name or person's name that I have typed, I limited, I literally said to the system, search in both the debtors and the creditors, and you can even put a tick in the check if name contained in entries. So it will check in all the entries if it can identify or find that name. Okay, so you can actually search using the traveler's name. The system will take you closest to what you've typed. Once you've typed the name, you can click on the search button and it will actually identify those characters for you, that field for you. Under queries as well, you've got your document lookup. I love document lookup, especially if you've got a query. So you can literally search for a journal, for an invoice, payment that was done, receipt, and the system will literally find the document for you. I'm just going to go back to, I think this is an invoice that I was looking for. I hope it's the proper document number. Well, let's just do 18. There we go. All right, 18 is my lucky number today. So if I were to search for document number 18, again, you've got your allocations button. So invoice 18, it literally finds the document for me, and it also finds other entries which are linked to this document. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So, okay, we've got one question in the chat. All good. Perfect. All right. So just think of these as your tools that you will actually use in case you don't have proper reference. Your client hasn't given you the document number. The client has just made payment. You are able to search with an amount. The system is going to look in your invoicing module, in the receipts. Okay, if I were to, it can limit the search into your debtors, in your invoicing, your creditors, your journals. So it's got an extensive search functionality that it will look in all those entries or in all those registers to find the amount closest to what you've typed. But with the amount, it has to match the exact amount. Okay. So this would definitely you'll use if you don't have proper paper trail, but the money has come into the bank, or you've got a query, whatever the case may be. Okay. I'm just going to close that screen. Right. And in your main module as well, you've got your control account. I'm not sure if this is also available in the WinMain Full. For people that have WinMain Full, please, you are more than welcome to verify that for me. But the WinMain, the control account, literally, it gives you, in a nutshell, what is currently happening in your business. Okay. I'm not a bookkeeper, so I can't dwell too much in this information, but this information is also in your general ledger. Okay, so this would feed through to your financials, and we will be having a GL session with proper bookkeepers that will give us more information. Deidre, you're more than welcome to step in with the control account, but literally it gives us a summary of what is happening in the GL as well. The moment you highlight your accounts receivable or your debtors, it gives you a list right at the bottom. So if you are able to export this into Excel, you are more than welcome to, because this actually gives you the balance brought forward, what invoices, what credit notes have been done, and the movement that's currently happening with that, with the actual summary of your debtors. It's not one specific data, it's a list of all your debtors. Okay, so you can actually display the range, decide from when you would like to view the information, up to which period, and export this to Excel, which I'm not going to do, and I'll stop embarrassing myself. Okay. Earlier on, we did receipting, and I showed you allocations. Okay, so right now I need to show you how to manually do allocations. And this would happen in an instance whereby you did a receipt, but you never did any allocations against the client's account. So the invoices will remain there until you get a remittance advice. which will then indicate which invoices have to be allocated. This is very important because allocations, it's easy for you to add something that's not there, but what's important is that work from a remittance advice and make sure that you've got the details of which invoices to allocate. So here, it's quite important that you never assume that, okay, let me add this invoice to this payment, whatever the case may be. Make sure that you've got a remittance advice. This is mainly, I think this mainly happens to people that deal with government officials. So with government officials, they'll make payment, but you don't know which invoices to allocate. When you keep on doing a statement for the client, the invoices will continuously show because you haven't allocated. Until you allocate those invoices, then the next statement that you run will not show those invoices. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do your manual allocations. And remember, very important, you can avoid doing your allocations at a later stage because you've got the option of doing a receipt and doing an allocation as you're doing your receipt. Or if you're still within the current month, you can still go back to that receipt and make sure that you do your allocations. This would usually happen at a later stage. Perhaps payment was received in March or whatever the case may be, but now they send you a remittance 6 months down the line. I think it does happen. I stand to be corrected. If it doesn't, then I don't know where I get these ideas from. But if it does happen, this is where you would actually come and make sure that you do your allocations. Okay. Any questions so far before I show you guys allocations?
My name is Deirdre. I'm co-host for today. I'm Swani's left hand. I'm definitely not her right hand. She's my right hand, my left hand, and probably a bit more. I also work for Quick Software. I'm in the sales and marketing team. But I also do a heck of a lot of training. I do the training videos, etc. So here we go. Today's session is all about queries, reports, and some allocations. So I'm going to show you how to do those. The very first thing, let's start up. Right at the top, as you can see, we've got queries. And the first one we're going to play with is monitor an account. Now, if you've already seen this and you're falling asleep, it's okay. I'm going to scream in 10 seconds time just to make sure you're all nice, wakey. All right. Please remember on your account monitor, depending on whether you've got full or win light, you will not see all the things that I've got right here. So I've got debtors, I've got ledgers, I've got general ledger accounts, land supply, settlement houses, etc. If you're on Win Main Light, you'll only really see debtors and ledgers. And if you have referral debtors on, then you'll see something called referral debtors. Okay, so don't freak out if you're not seeing stuff we are using here. We generally do our training on the Win Main Full because it just makes sense to do it on there. It's got every single thing switched on. And it just makes it a little easier. So all you're going to do is you're going to go into debtors. And in here, as you've already noticed, or as Swani has said, you can either look for the code by doing the drop-down arrow, by searching for a name. I think I've got Jacob's. Yeah, love Jacob's coffee. Or alternatively, you can simply just type in the code. Once you've hit the code, system's going to jump into the display from, and you're going to select how long you want to have this report running. And you can literally go back as far as your data commenced. Keep in mind, if you are pulling a couple of years, it might be long, it might be slow, so it might take a little while, but the system will allow you to do that. The next thing then, on the right-hand side, you have the option to hide anything that is a null invoice. In other words, it was invoiced out as a credit card perhaps, or you can say hide closed. Now what does hide closed mean? It means it was original invoice, a receipt was done, and you subsequently allocated the invoice and the receipt together. So it's now seen as a closed transaction. Okay, so if there's no balance, we see it as a closed thing. And then, of course, we have something very nice that we refer to as the extended button, and it's just going to change the view. So let's look at this quickly now. Here you can see all my transactions that happened on this particular account. If I want to use the close, can you see we've got a debit and a credit there? They're open. If I try and hide it now, it is not going to take them away. Why? Because can you see there's still an amount in the open box, meaning I never allocated this. And I'm going to show you how to allocate in a very short while. If you want to look at extended, if you click on extended and you load it, it has a little bit more information here on the right-hand side. And can you see it's bringing in second references, third, fourth, fifth, whatever you had on that particular invoice, my system will show you. Okay, so that's what extended does. It just gives you everything at the end of it. Orders, what. All right, now straight from here, if you want to look at something, okay, if it's a receipt you want to look at, you can double click on it. And it'll actually bring up that particular receipt for you so that you can go and see exactly what you've captured. So it's quite handy and nice. If it had a deposit number on there like we have here, it will also give you a link to the deposit number. Now, I don't know if any of you know this, but this little yellow folder that looks like it's opening is actually a shortcut into the deposit as well. So as with Quick, as you've known by now, every single little thing is quite possibly another little hidden function you never knew in before. Okay, this also has actions into the cash book, but I'm not going to work on that right now. All right, now if you want to see what your invoice looks like, obviously if you double click it like this, it looks a bit different from your invoicing screen, but it still gives you all the line item and transactions that you did capture on the original invoicing screen. Bearing in mind, nothing can be changed. You also can't double click on it, and it doesn't have flight numbers, routings, fare bases, and all of that nonsense. But it does at least bringing it up to you, and at a quick glance, you can see total fare, payment method, as well as your client's amount, so that you can see who owes you what. All right. So that in essence is, if you double click, what it will do here on the right hand side at the bottom of this particular invoice, it will quickly give you some information as well about VAT, taxes, those kind of things. So if you do want to get more info, it'll actually show it to you. And of course you can go and print this invoice at this stage. I'm not going to print it. Please go and play on your own PCs, because I will keep you here for an hour extra. And I know this is meant to be a quick one, so I shall not bore you. All right. Now, once you've done this, you can also look at movement. And the movement tab will basically show you all movement on this account ever since it was opened. Okay, now you can see this client wasn't really used. The first time we used him was in April. With your movement, number of invoices, which is quite handy. Again, invoice totals. If I had credit notes, I would have credit notes in here. Any purchases I might have done for this particular client. And then, of course, my receipts. Journals. And let's see what else we have. We only have those. Okay, so there was nothing else done in here. Right. Now then, the third tab is really just the contact details, and this is where it becomes crucial, ladies and gentlemen. In your invoicing setup, if you don't have all the information captured like I have it in here, it'll appear as a whole lot of dots. So please make sure that you capture that information. It's also handy that if you're in this monitor an account and you look at the ledger and you can see the guy's owing us 14,000 Rand, instead of you having to close it, go back into the invoicing module to get his number, straight from here, if you're in your contact details, you can just pick up the phone and phone him and say, hey, dude, you owe me some money. Okay. So it's very handy having contact details, but it also depends on you capturing it. The last tab that we have in here is the log tab. This is really where you can go and say whatever you want to say. Okay, was it a call? Was it a visit? Did you all know about this? I'm hoping you did. If you didn't, this is a very handy little tool so that you can keep tabs of the client. So if he promised you something, you can say, listen, he promised me money. And to do it, it's quite simple. Simply click on New. Enter the date that you spoke to the client as well as the time. The system will default automatically to your system date at the bottom. So if you need to backdate it or something like that, or change the time slightly, you can. I normally suggest come in here, open your monitor account, do a new log, and let it capture, and then make your phone call, whatever you want to do. At your log type, select, was it a call, email correspondence, or visit? So in this case, it's a call. The consultant you phoned is Leanne, except it's not, it's now me. And at the contact, I can go and select who the contact is that I'm doing. And these contacts, believe it or not, is your passenger's details. So if you did that individual contact thingy, guys, it will come up in here and you will know exactly who's the account and who's not and what not. Right. simply select, and at the topic, you can just say whatever it is. And I decided this was for an outstanding amount. And at the topic, just said called client. So I phoned myself. Oh gosh, can you imagine that conversation that would be going on? Called client, requested payment. Okay. Whatever you want to say. If this client, we'll get to you now, Stace. Hi, Stace. Okay. If you had a fussy client, keep in mind this is not going to print anywhere. So if you want to say this client was absolutely abysmal, rude, whatever you want to say, you can go and put in there. Second thing also, if you want to warn somebody else, if you're more than one debtors person in your company, and you want to say, be warned, client abrasive, or whatever the case might be, just so that they know that what you expect from it. Whatever you put in here, nobody else is going to see except the person coming into these logs. Okay. It is such an awesome tool, because if you think about it, here is a log of everything you've ever sent or requested, or even if you did a visit, you can see Trish did a visit to Barbie. Okay, who was the FM, just to say hi, Barbie, whatever. If your client, if you do this properly, and your client ever gets into a fight and he's like, you guys never do any effort, you know how that can go on. You can quite simply come into this log and you can go and right click and you can go export to current view, and you can open it in Excel and say, excuse me, this is the logs of the amount of times we've been requesting payment from you. You didn't pay us. You're not getting more tickets. Sorry for you. Done. Okay. This is so awesome. And I'm seeing here some people are saying they didn't know about this nice tab. This tab has always been there. It was just always underutilized. And of course, you guys didn't get all the training like we have now with the time that we have on our hands. So, yay! Run up for quick. Guys, use this log. It's such an awesome tool. I really think, yeah, it should be used more. All right, so those were your tabbies. So we had a ledger, we had a movement, we had contact details, and we had a log. So straight in this one screen are called Account Monitor. You have everything one shot. Okay. Quite handy, quite cool. Now it doesn't stop here. From here, if I go back into my ledger, all right, I can also load the transactions, and you know loading was me selecting my dates and then clicking on load, and this was the result of the load, remember? All right, we've played with open. We can also print, so if you really want to print, straight from here, guys, did you see that? Straight from here, I can do an analysis. I don't have to go and do inquiries, ledger, Straight from here, guys, print analysis. Let's see what it looks like. Hopefully it's going to be cool. You can show the contact details. So if you want to print it and maybe give it to somebody to go and chase, put the contact details in there. If you want to see the movement, if you want to see the log, you decide what you want to see. Let me see if it's going to print and look nice, and it does. And look here. Ta-da! Now, why would you go queries, ledger, This account summary is super. Right, straight from there, it'll show you all your open items. Okay, please remember, if you have closed items, they've already paid, you won't see it. And at the bottom, it'll show you all your movements. Now, remember, I made this original report from 2017, hence it's showing me all these millions of months. Okay. Once it's done, at the bottom, remember that log I said? So if your manager is telling you you're not working hard enough, you can print this log and put this whole thing in front of them and say, guys, I've really tried these people, whatever the case is. Okay. Who likes the account summary?
Oh, lovely.
Yay! I'm so glad I showed you. Good, good, good. Hi, Linda. I'm going to do a lot of editing today because I'm talking a lot of nonsense. That's why it takes forever to load them. But in any case, guys, this is a big thing. That print button is also undervalued. Yes, it'll print the document that you've highlighted, but that analysis, who doesn't want that analysis? Use the analysis. Go, go, go. Good. Now, if you made any allocations, and on this particular transaction I didn't do any allocations. But if you wanted to see how things were, let me try another account. I'm sure I must have another account. I think I play with that OK a lot. Let's see. Oh yeah, clearly this OK is a firm favorite. Let's see. What does allocations do? Let's see if there's a receipt in here. I haven't done a receipt. Can I quickly make a receipt? Do you mind?
No, it's fine.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Sorry about that. I just want to show you. Receipt up. We'll make it an EFT. We'll write it into that bank account. Just D28. And we are doing a payment of 18038.68. Oh, Khatsi. Am I not able to type? Guys, is it cold or is it cold? My fingers are frozen solid.
Excuses, excuses.
Shh. Okay, I've done a receipt, I've banked, I've confirmed. Okay, bye-bye receipt. There we go. Let's do this again, except I'm not going to run it from 2017. We'll only do current months. Okay, dokes. Now let's see if we've posted. Where's my receipt? I just did a receipt now. Okay, hello, Deirdre. We're in May. Did anybody notice we're in May?
No, we're in July.
According to me, we're still in May. Clearly, May was a good month. I don't know. Okay. If you want to see what your allocations is all about, you're going to highlight the transaction. In this case, it's going to be my receipt. And if I go into allocations, my system will show me what exactly was allocated against this particular receipt. So it says here, receipt number 3 was allocated as follows, and it has the actual invoice detail. Now, bear in mind, if you have more than one invoice that you've paid, if you've got multiple stuff, and you want to print it out or you want to look at it, we have got nice allocation registers to print from. Okay. That doesn't mean you can't do it straight from here. You can right-click, export, print, also fine. Alternatively, you can simply go into print and you can say print receipt, which will also show you your allocations. Okay, do you want me to show you the receipts, or are you guys all fine with the receipts? I think you did that yesterday. You should be fine. Hey. And then also remember, if you've done invoices and credit notes and you use the retrieve button, you should all know this, and I'm hoping you do, that if you use the retrieve button, my system will automatically allocate the two against each other because it was a perfect match. You know that?
Yep.
I'm getting a yep from Rena. Not sure if the others know that. Yay, yes, yes, yes. I like yeses, thank you. And here you can see exactly what happened as I've just explained it. Okay. All right, so sometimes, for some reason, when you run an account monitor, something just looks off and you're like, I can't place my finger on it, but this account just doesn't look nice. This verify button that you have right here will literally go and run through the entire account and double check if the aging agrees to the ledger entries and the vouchers are balancing to 0 on your vouchers, because maybe you saved a voucher and there was a little glitch in the electricity or something like that, and it didn't save all those lines. These checks, guys, are very important. And I'm not saying don't phone support, but if you ever come across something weird on your particular account when you do account monitor and it doesn't feel right, please run this verify for me. You can limit it to months. In other words, it'll only run those 2 months. If you leave it switched off like I have, it will look at the entire account since inception, which is also sometimes not a bad idea. Simply tick all 3 your boxes, rather let it check everything and then do a run. If you still then, after the fix, have errors, then please pick up the phones and contact us immediately, because that will mean we'll need to write a patch for you. And I think, Rena, you guys had a similar situation. Rena will be able to tell you. If this verify doesn't work out, no matter if you run it twice or 3 times or anything like that, if that error remains, it means we have to do a patch for you. And there's nothing you can do it. It's not your fault. It happened. There might have been a glitch in electricity, anything, many things could have caused it. Okay, so this is what this little verify is about. And it's really a mini diagnostics, but it focuses only on that account. So it doesn't go and do all your clients and all the various accounts. Right, so that's what Verify is about. And then we have a nice button here that's called Export. So if you click on Export, what it will do is it can write it for you into different formats. Now guys, keep in mind that we have to look at segregation of duties here, because some of this information shouldn't be for everybody's eyes. Okay, so hopefully you all have Duty Manager activated. Hopefully you all have Action Authorities activated. If you don't, pop us a mail, sales@quicksoftware.co.za, so that we can do a session and show you. We do have a session for Duty Manager coming up next week sometime. I'll make sure it gets loaded. Join me for that, because this is, although it's there and it's handy that you can export it into all these things, it is a dangerous thing to do. Okay, not everybody should have this privilege. Okay. Right. You can see here, you can do it in an INI, a CSV, or XML. So maybe you need to export all your stuff into XML so that your auditors can go and import it for some weird, wonderful reason. I don't know why, but maybe they want to import it into their accounting software. You can absolutely do that. That's what all the XMLs is for. Okay. I'm not going to do that right now because it's really just a comma file. Oh, I'll show you, but I'm wasting your time. I'm sorry. And now my exporting, I'm waiting for it to export, and it's taking its merry time. I will send you all a love letter with this if you really want to. Otherwise, simply just go play. Sorry, I'm not going to wait for this computer to respond. It is tired and cold. Right, so this in a nutshell is the account monitor. I almost want to tell you that gone are the days where you're going to go run print ledgers and all of that stuff. Under your queries, your account monitor is going to be the place where you play the most. You can still run an age analysis, and you can still run all the other stuff that we have in there. We're not focusing on those today, but account monitor is going to be utilized far more than anything else in the main module, especially for your debtors, especially for your creditors. Okay, any questions quickly about account monitor before I move on to document lookup? None?
No.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I think it can actually explain itself. I think you can see it's got handy, nifty tools in there. The guys really thought this through. I like it. I definitely see the benefit to it. All right, so the next thing we're going to play with is a document lookup. Does anybody know about document lookup? We know we have a document lookup everywhere else, but did you know that we have it in the main module? And the nice thing about the main module, again, guys, word of warning, if you have one light, you're not going to see everything I see in here. And also, if you don't have purchase journals and all of those things activated, then you also won't see it. So you'll only see what is activated in your main module. Don't freak out if you don't have it. I'm demoing on a full win main, and hence you'll see lots of things I can go and select from. So straight from here, if I want to look at a receipt, I can click on a receipt. If I want to look at journals, I select the reference, and immediately underneath it'll give me all my journal entries. Now keep in mind, if your journal entries are password protected, and if you know how to password protect them, they will not appear in here unless, again, you have the proper rights, duties, segregation, wada. Okay, so if you don't see stuff in here, or you just see little stars or something, it's because you're not privy to the information. Okay, so I can do journals, enter the journal number. If I want to do another journal, I can simply just type in the reference, and as I type in the reference number, the system will give me all my information. If I want to look at allocations, straight from here, I can click on allocations. So it's pretty much like monitor an account, except now it'll look at the source document and do the allocations, etc. straight from there. Also quite nice, also quite nifty. I like it. You don't have to use it. Some people don't use it. They just prefer the other way. However it works, it's cool beans. All right. And here again, as you can see, when you click on allocations, the system will bring in all the allocations to that particular transaction. All right, so it's a cool, quick, nifty tool. The next dude that I really like, and it was whoever still had the old main module, who came from our DOS main module. Quick show of hands, yes, just so that I know how many of you should remember this. Yay, I did, yes. Ah, shame guys, you've been loyal supporters, we appreciate you. We used to have a passenger lookup in the DOS main module. And then we went over to Windows main, and for a while, a long time actually, we didn't have the passenger lookup. And everybody was crying, saying, bring back the DOS, where's the passenger lookup? Now, if you've played with this before, forgive me for getting overexcited, but the passenger query now allows you immediately, and yes, you can go do this in invoicing, but in invoicing, it's not going to show you any payments that was done or any journals or anything for a particular passenger. This passenger transaction query, the moment you type in the passenger's surname, who can we use? I'm going to say Miller. Okay. The moment you type in the passenger's details and set your range, what the system will do is it'll find every single matching entry for you, and it'll look at debits and credits. So you can see here at the top it's looking in the debtor section, it's also looking in the creditor section. So wherever this particular name that I typed in at the top came through, it'll show it to me. Obviously, if you're working in the debtors department and you're not really worried about where it hits any creditor's account, simply untick the creditors at the top and it'll get rid of it for you. All right. If you want to check if the name is contained in any entries, simply tick it again and search. And here you can see it brings up all the results. It's quite a nice little nifty tool just for you to see, was there any invoices, was there any receipts, how can I find it, not just in debtors but creditors also. I really like it. It came from DOS main module. For me, it just works. I'm very happy.
Love it.
Cool tip. And then we have something called the amount lookup. Do you use it? And if you don't, I'm going to cry. Good, I'm getting a yeah. All right, please remember, under queries, you can go amount lookup. It looks like a golden penny. It is also the same okay here. So all the things we just covered now is in this section here. If you click on that gold penny, this will open up and it'll say, please tell me what I'm searching for. And you then have to put in an amount. And now I'm going to have to cheat because I don't have an amount. So I'm going to copy this field. You never saw me do that. Hey? I'm going to edit it out of the video so it looks legit. Woo, 18036.68, I think. There we go. Once you click search, doesn't matter who. The system will, if you have everything ticked in here, look at every single amount search in the invoicing, debtors, creditors, and GL codes and bring up the results for you straight from here. And if you want to see what it does, you can double click and say open. And it'll show you whether it's a cash book entry, whether it's an invoice, or whether it's a receipt. It is a very, very handy thing, especially if you have an amount search that you want to quickly look at. Okay, I particularly like it. Of course, if you're only looking for a journal or you're only looking for a receipt, then simply untick the stuff that you don't care about and just say search again. Okay, so it will narrow it down for you. In the same breath, you can also limit to month. I'm not going to limit to month, but you can. All right, so use these buttons. They're there for a reason. They're there to make it easier for you, faster, and definitely far more efficient. All right. So that is under queries, the first 4 transactions. I'm going to quickly, I know we didn't specify that we're going to train this. I'm going to quickly go into the second section just so that we can quickly look at what this does. Now, the control account for a lot of people is like, Deirdre, why must we do it? And we know we run it at month end. We all know it's part of the month end thing. But did you know that your control account is a quick glance at your cash flow, showing you your debtors, your creditors, your balance sheet. So it's like a mini TB, except if you're on Winlight, it's not. Okay. When we run this control account, the system is quickly going to give us all our income statement accounts, our accounts receivable, our creditors, and any other balance sheet transaction. Now, you probably already know this, but as soon as you click on a heading at the bottom, it'll tell you which GL accounts will be implicated. So if I go to my creditors and I say land creditors, straight from here, I can see all my creditors that's making up my balance of 2299. If we had some movement in there, you could also then go and look at the movement. Okay. I like it. It's a quick glance. Some people are like, oh, we don't use control account. I'm one of those. I want to, at a quick glance, see what's happening in the month without me having to export into the GL and quickly go and run a TV. This quickly shows you invoices, credit notes, receipts, payments, whatever happened on it. Obviously, keep in mind if there was journals, there would be journals in here as well. All right. Cool. I like control account. If you need to run it mid-month to update your GL, simply click on Go, recalculate, and click on Export. There is no limit to the amount of times you can run this control account. Every single time you run it, the system will update the GL. I think it's probably going to be more applicable to the people on WinMain Lite, who really only has their debtors in here, because of course you'd want to get those creditors back.
Yeah.
Okay. But use the control account. You don't have to wait at month end. You can run it at any time during the month. Okay.
Okay.
Now you've already seen that you can run an age analysis through monitor an account, but you can also run a total company one in here. So if you go into age analysis, you can go and select whether you want to run your debtors, your creditors, whatever. Again, guys, depending on what you have activated, this is what will show. So if your creditors is in the GL, because you've got WinMain Lite debtors only, then you won't see any creditors. So select your debtors, and then also you have sub-accounts. So now you can decide, do you want to see leisures or corporates or both? Keeping in mind, if you want to see both, please keep it blank. Right. Now, some of you might have different client prefixes. We normally install with a D and a L, D for debtors, L for leisures. Okay. You might have asked us to load some more prefixes. So if you want to limit to only a specific prefix, this is where you would do it, in your client prefixes. All right. And then you can decide, do you want to see it in code or in name order? Totally up to you. From and to account, I'm going to leave it blank. And for now, what I'm going to do is I'm simply just going to run it like now, like this. And let's quickly look at the differences. All right. So this is what the age analysis looks like. And right now, it's really just giving me balances. And of course, any aging that I might have. Now, sorry, this is a brand new data set, so I haven't played enough. I will make work of it. But you will just get totals right now. If you want to see what the breakdown is of the actual balances on here, so I want to see what this 21,000 Rand is all about, this show open items will allow me to see the breakdown. And as you can see here, it's a bit small, but it will show you exactly. There was a journal, I had some invoices, I had some receipts, and this is how we got to the total of 14,472 rands. Okay, so it's in there. If you don't want to see negative balance, now what's a negative balance? That is something with a credit balance. So if somebody, you owe somebody money because the account is in credit, if you don't want to see it, that's what exclude negative balances is about. And then of course you can also decide whether or not you want to include draft documents. So based on your settings that you have in here, the system will show you the information. Okay. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Please play with it. It's there for a reason. And if you do need just to see it, I will send you an email at the end of it. Right. Now, sometimes your consultants say, you're like, your client hasn't paid, and we all fight in between each other, between accounts, and the consultants, there's always a little thing going on because the one feels they're better than the other. If you need to run an age analysis for one particular consultant only, this is very handy. Your account filters will allow you to go and choose only one particular consultant's age analysis. So if we run it, you can go and say, well done, Deirdre, you're a good girl. Nobody owes us any money. But in the same breath, you can be like, Deirdre, you're pathetic because you haven't done anything. All right, but that is what your account filters is all about. So if you are looking for something specific, you can just do that there. All right, again, my people hasn't worked. Sorry dudes. All right, so this is your account, sorry, not your account, your age analysis and your various filters that you can go and apply it to. Right, it doesn't take rocket science. Simply go select, make the selections, and then decide. Now, you have asked, we've listened. Everybody said, can I have an account, age analysis, not account, so I don't know why I'm on account. Can I have an age analysis, and can I please export it into Excel? Absolutely. You're not going to print it. Yay! You're going to file it. Okay, so you're going to go File, and you're going to choose Excel. System's going to run through, and hopefully it'll be quick so that I can show you. I clearly worked very hard, hey? Yes, poor Deirdre. I'm so sarcastic. Right, guys? There you go. There's your age analysis in Excel, and you can now go and manipulate it. You asked for it. We finally listened. Well, not finally. It's been there for a while, but a lot of people don't know.
It took them a while.
Yeah, it took them a while. It did. I'm going to be the first to admit. We've been screaming for this for many years. And then we put it in on the sly, and we were waiting to see who noticed and send us a love letter to say thank you. Nobody did. So I'm just making sure you know. You're probably all like, why should I thank you? It took you years. But in any case. Good. So you can export it into Excel. You can also export it into QPI or in a PDF if you so wish. Okay. And that is your age analysis. Ledgers, as I said to you earlier on, you can run a ledger. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm one of those, use your account monitor and use that accounts printout. There's no reason for you to use the ledger, but there is. For some of you, you might find a reason why you want to see it in here versus on the account monitor. It's absolutely up to you. Simply go and print it, have a look what it looks like, or I'll print it for you quickly and just show you all. This is really what your ledger looks like. Okay, so it's pretty much like the other one. The only thing now is if you didn't specify any accounts, it's your full ledger for every single debtor and leisure account. Okay. Right, you. And then what's my statements? Anybody need me to talk about statements? We have a whole separate session about statements where we will show you how to automatically set it up so that at month end and mid-month, believe it or not, you can email off your statements. I hope you guys are going to join me for that one. I think I'm actually... Guys, there's no reason for you to manually send out your statements anymore. Please, let's go set them up. And let the system run them for you at month end. And then if you do need to run them mid-month, you see this little Harry Potter dude here? Yeah. That Harry Potter dude will allow you to send statements every day if that's what you please. Okay. Right now, this particular statement means I'm going to manually put in the statements, the from to accounts, and I'm going to manually decide, do I want to see brought forward breakdown? So line for line for line for line. So come in statements play. Obviously, you guys are going to have to find something that works for you. If you do get a setting and you want it to be on every single statement, please keep in mind that we can go into the branch settings and we can set it up so that no matter what, that will be the layout for the statement always. Jan, I'll get to your answer just now. All right, so if you don't want to see any paid items on your statement, remember to hide them. And as I say, you can, all these buttons you have here in the invoicing branch setup, you can go and set it up so that by default, they'll be ticked so that you don't have to go and say the same things over and over and over at every single time. Okay, from here, print it into a PDF or a QPI file. And then of course your printer as well. Jan is saying, is that the training we did last week on auto email? Jan, the training we did last week on automatic emailing was just the emailing of invoices. The emailing of statements will happen, if you give me a second, I'll tell you right now. Auto emailing of statements is this Thursday. Oh, Thursday the 16th at 2, where I'll show you how we do the setup for it. and the final preparation. But it's really what you did last week, Jan. The only thing is now you're just going to go and select statements as well. Okay. Okie dokes.
Righto.
Oh, somebody's having a chat. Tsepang, I'm going to mute you, my baby. I'm sorry. All right. Now, we also have something called bill-through remittance advices. I'm not going to go into too much detail for that because we will go into full win main in other sessions. This is a general training, so I'm not going to go in there. But if you've joined us for reports training, you will know that we've got various queries. So I'm not going to talk about those. And then, of course, under your management queries, we've got VAT reports and those kind of things, which, again, we will have separate sessions for. The VAT reports training is tomorrow at 12 with Sylvia. So if anybody want to know how to do your VAT reports, your VAT returns, those kind of things, Sylvia is the go-to girl. She's really absolutely the biggest boffin on VAT that we have in the company, and I urge you, if you want to find out more about it, to join us then tomorrow at 12. She'll be handling that. What I was set out to do and what we promised you to do is basically done now. Is there any questions that I can answer? Anybody want to know anything?
I want to ask you a quick question,
Yes.
please. You know, Deirdre, when clients ask you for invoices reflecting the VAT, and we are the middleman, we still have the questions from the clients that they want us to show or reflect the VAT of the supplier invoice on our invoices. Now, I know we can't do that, but I need to know, is there an updated letter from SARS or you guys?
Well, the letter will definitely have to come through from SARS. What you can do, and I know a lot of people are talking about, is disbursement VAT. They're saying that you need to set it up as disbursement VAT, but that will mean you need to do it on every single supplier. So yes, if you, Rena, I would actually just phone the support department and then just ask them to give you the letter from SARS.
Okay, cool. All right.
Okay, they will definitely have it. I don't have it. Right, I have it on my laptop. I don't have it on this PC I'm training on now, so I won't be able to give it to you in a quick jiffy, but if you email support, they'll do it. Lynn?
Okay, I've got it. I just thought there was a newer one.
No, my babes. No, you know the receiver. They're quick with their orders, but they're slow with their own execution. Linda, thank you. I love you. I forgot about debtors, allocations, and reversals. Guys, I was an absolute idiot. Thank you, Linda. Love you lots. Right, guys, I did forget to do something, and it's called your allocation vouchers. Now, in the Win Main full, as you can see here, I have debtors allocation vouchers, and I have creditors allocation vouchers, and they work exactly the same. So I'm going to work on a debtors allocation voucher because it does exactly the same as a creditor. What is the function? Quite simply, you've captured all those receipts at that point in time. You didn't have a RA from your client, so you couldn't go and do the actual allocations. The new debtors allocation voucher will allow you to do just that. So simply enter the date, the consultant who's preparing it. It should default to you. Please keep in mind, if it doesn't default to you, you need to go into your preferences in the invoicing module to update them. And then quite simply enter the client's account number. Now, once you've done that, the system's going to give you a running balance, so the balance of the account as it is right now. And it's going to tell you at this stage, I've not allocated any invoices or any receipts at this point in time. And I have not done any receipts either. So guys, stick with me, okay? I'm going to quickly do a receipt. Don't cry. See, it's picking up. I'm doing something. So it's like, why are you doing this, Deirdre? All right. So the client paid me 104,000 Rand. I am going to show you guys how to import your allocations from an Excel spreadsheet tomorrow. So whoever's joining at 10 tomorrow, if you get a spreadsheet from one of your big corporate clients and they've put it into Excel, I'm going to show you how to quickly change it so that you don't have to go here like I am now and just do everything again. I'm just going to discard and do it again. All right, so now it's showing me I've got a balance of 190,000. I'm going to have to allocate my receipt, which is my first thing I normally do. You can start with invoices. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as we get to a 0 at the end. Okay. So if it's the full amount I want to allocate, I can quite simply press my insert button. Okay. Insert button will allocate the full amount. If I don't like that, you can also go and say allocate. You can say receipt 1. Or you can double click and put in the amount. Guys, we have these options for you, but I don't think they're very efficient. If it's a full allocation, simply hit the insert button and there you go. All right, now if I want to try and allocate some stuff, I can simply click on insert and go down, and can you notice this? Keep your eye on the top. It'll increase allocated numbers and it'll decrease my amount that I still have to allocate. Can you see that? Right, it also allows me, if I had multiple months in here, I could also go and select April, May, or whatever the case might be. So allocation will allow me to do it either by aging, which will be April, March, whatever, or it'll allow me a full amount or only a particular one. Right, in this instance, I still have a balance left of 3,565 odd rand. And now this particular invoice, they're part paid because they still have a query on it. To do a part allocation, double click and type in the amount that you want to allocate. Once you've done that and you click on save, you will notice that it allocated part amount of the 18,000 and it still leaves you with the running balance. And mine's just gone down. Why has it done that? What's going on? Oh, because I've already over allocated and nobody said anything. All right. So once I've allocated everything, very, very important, this amount must always go back to 0. If it has a balance in there and I try and save it, my system's going to be like, listen. Your sum is not equal. We only want zeros. Please, you need to correct it before saving. Okay, so it will always look at that balance and it must always go back to 0. Right, once you are done, you can simply click on save. Now, sometimes for some reason, we go do an allocation because we think this is what the client paid. And you saw me, I was merrily going insert, delete, insert, delete, insert, delete, and somebody did a part allocation, all of that. So now you're in a rush and you thought that's what they paid. And suddenly this remittance advice arrives on your email inbox saying, hello, listen, Scotty, this is what I actually paid you. Don't allocate it against the older stuff. I only paid you for this. Now you're in with your hands in your hair, you're like, what am I going to do? There's good news. The good news is you're going to go to File, Debtors Allocation Voucher Register, and you're going to go find the allocation that you know was done wrong. To reverse it, you're simply going to highlight, and you're going to go down and say Reverse. Now magically, you'll go and unallocate everything and you can see the balances are back where they belong with the number of items. And you can simply say save. Okay. When you then look at your debtors register, your allocation register, you will see that you have the actual reversal in there. Please note, if you see an R at the end of the document number, it means it was a reversal. Helen is asking, can you do a reversal even for a different month? Yes. In an ideal world, in a current month, what you would do is you would simply then just go and open this up. Do you agree with me? And you would just reopen and clear the whole allocation and save it. This reversal is specifically in the cases of where it's the next month and you need to reverse something that you allocated in the previous month. So absolutely yes, Helen, can be done. Any questions about debtors allocations? Straight from here, if I want to print it, simply click on print. And you can choose PDF QPI, or if you want to print it to your real printer, let's look at the real printer. Oops, sorry about that. And there you go, there's your entire debtors allocation voucher. So if you do need to print it. Okay. So what happens if you wanted it in Excel? Would you be able to put it in Excel? Because if you click on print, there's no Excel there, is there? How do you get past that? Very easy. Straight in here, right click, and just say export current view. Okay, and it'll open it up in Excel for you. Do you want me to do a creditors allocation for you as well? Or do you guys get the gist of it? Because it's really very much the same. Looks the same. The only thing is it is. Okay. Linda's saying yes, and I just need to remember now who has got some money on them. Give me a second, my babes. I just need to remember who I've used. Oh, hold on. I think it's Quick Software or some Stay Easy or Stay Soft or something. Okay, so creditors allocation voucher is pretty much the same. If you don't have it, please don't freak out. You've got one light. Creditors allocation voucher new, nice and purple. Into the suppliers details. Oh, okay, clearly it wasn't that one. Here's one. Oh, I don't have a payment. All right, can I quickly do a payment? Do you mind, Linda? Oh, it's very cheeky with me. I'm just going to quickly do a payment if you don't mind. Oh, cooks. Sorry. Oh, I didn't put that in. That would help, eh? Okay, let's try and do a creditors allocation file, new allocation voucher, enter the account number. Now, if you know the code, obviously the code, otherwise drop down and select from there. Oh, dearie me, I'm such a nunu. Look at that. I just increased the account now. I never looked at it. I was just journal. Oh, Deirdre, that's not going to work. They owe us money. That's fine. It's okay. You're going to be all right. Okay, let's try again. Sorry about that, Linda. I'm just going to discard quickly. You know what would be really nice? Tell me if I'm wrong. If we had another button here, like we have with your journals and your receipts, where you can say reload. I'd really like a reload button in here, but that's just me. If you want to reload, send us a lot of emails, and then we'll just say, yeah, everybody asked for it. Okay, so if you want to allocate, you have your journal entry. Let's pretend this was an actual invoice. Insert, and either you can go allocate and say receipt or current, or you can double click, enter the amount, or another way to do it is again using your insert button. And the last one is, if you really like your mouse, take your mouse and drag it. And I don't like it because it never works for me. Okay, it works. I don't know why it's not working now. And that's how you do a debtors allocation voucher. All right, tomorrow we'll talk about importing. Trust me, you're going to love importing. It's nice for Avis and for your debtors accounts if they have got like hundreds of lines that you need to allocate. Once you're done, simply click on Save, and then either draft, Save as closed. Okay, so that's how you do your debtors and creditors allocation vouchers. Anybody, any questions? Everybody. Gail said she missed one session. Did you miss the receipt, deposit, and journal session, Gail? Okay. Gail, we have made recordings of all of them. A lot of you have asked for them. I've been holding back because I said I want to edit them first. I've now decided to hell with editing. You guys will just get the raw unedited versions. So what I will do is I'll quickly go download these and then upload them onto YouTube and then send you the link. Okay. If I don't send you something, just pop me a mail at sales at Quick Software and just say, can I please have the recording of main modules part 1, and I will send it through to you. Okay. Anybody? I don't care about editing. Are you sure? Trust me, the amounts of okie dokies, ahs, and I don't know what else. I'll figure it out as I edit. I put in, it's like hilarious. I'm like, oh my gosh, Deirdre, you shouldn't be talking. But in any case, we'll give you the unedited versions. You can then listen to them. I am editing them as I get time, so they will change slightly, hopefully in the next year or so. And that being said, that is it for right now. We have another session now at 2 o'clock about ivory batches and how you set them up and all of that. For those of you who will be joining me, I'll see you again at 2. Otherwise, for the rest of you, have a very good day and a very good afternoon. I know I'm seeing some, Stace, I'm seeing you at 4 o'clock, so I'll have a chat to you at 4. But for the rest of you, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate it. Until the next time, take care and be well. Cheerio.